chronic stress, emotional or chronic nutritional stress or toxicity, that's going to throw off the circadian rhythm potentially and create this HPA axis issue and maybe cause a reverse cortisol pattern where the cortisol maybe starts to go up at night and that can impair sleep. And then also, if we don't get good sleep, then that also compounds more fatigue, right? So you can see how, like, you start with the adrenals, but then if that goes off, that can spiral into sleep, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, I was there. I had insomnia, but then I'd be drained during the day. So I'd be tired and wired at night and then, just not functioning well during the daytime. And I had a lot of gut issues. So it
Yeah.
definitely added up. At the time I was using adaptogenic herbs, but it definitely couldn't get me fully out of the woods. I was using maca, tribulus, rhodiola, all sorts of different ginsengs. Ashwagandha can help. Did some magnolia for a while, throwing in GABA to try to calm the nervous system. So I used a lot of the adaptogens, but if you stop there, you're really not going to get fully out of the woods because I still had these different gut issues.
Bingo. Yeah. So it's good to look at, kind of everything holistically. And then, not to mention, we talked about the sleep rhythm, but if we're chronically inflamed, that's also a big one too, because chronic inflammation is going to cause a lot more immune activity, more cytokines, more interleukins. And if there's like kind of autoimmune stuff happening going on, that can create more inflammation. And there's kind of this correlation where the more cytokines and interleukins that are present, that's also can drive fatigue. And think about it, right? If your immune system is so overactive because it sees what's happening as a stressor, that imagine you only have so much energy to pull from with your body to run your different systems. And if your immune system is overactive, cytokines, interleukins, these chemical messengers due to inflammation, that's going to pull from all of the energy you have to run your body systems as a whole. So that in and of itself can make you fatigued. Same thing, you have these same kind of cytokines and interleukins present when you get sick, when you get a virus or a bacterial infection. And what's the hallmark that happens when you get sick is you get tired. You get tired because your body wants you to be like, hey, lay up, stop doing stuff so we can fight the infection. And so that's a big one too with inflammation, cytokines, immune, and then also fatigue.
Yeah, speaking of cytokines and all of that, there is a paper that just came out relatively recent. This was looking at post CV-19
Mm,
patients.
yep.
So even one, but even 2 years after infection, there's still massive fatigue happening in people. So this study breaks it down further, but the long story short of it is if you feel like you never fully recovered, you got the virus, you never fully recovered, you still have fatigue, well, they're seeing even after 2 years that's still happening. And when you mention cytokines, you and I have seen you can measure some of this on blood, and then also you can measure the mitochondrial impact on the organic acids. And I know because I've seen people either during infection or right after infection, we've looked at their oat test and there's a massive change. We see a change in nutrient levels. We see a change even in the stool test in terms of gut inflammation, intestinal permeability markers. And so this is another factor that we have to throw in.